Hey guys, this is Circa FANVID back at it again. Yeah, we're talking about House of the Dragon. I know everybody's talked about it. Probably it's a beaten horse right now. Everyone's like, oh, why is this guy talking about it? I just thought I could just, add in a little bit of what I think about the whole situation. It's crazy how a show that literally 3 years ago everyone called it probably the worst, not because the show is bad by any means, because the last season was literally probably the worst in television history. I watched it, I was like, John was supposed to, okay.
Watch this, Lise. You can actually pinpoint the second when his heart rips in half. And now.
How does a show that was as big as Game of Thrones come back from such a devastating loss? Usually, for example, look at Marvel. I don't know if it's gonna ever come back because less people are watching the shows, less people are enthused by the content they're producing. Somehow Warner Brothers was able to turn that narrative around with a prequel series called House of the Dragon. Now, House of the Dragon for me, the first 2 episodes felt like the average Game of Thrones episode. And I'm not talking about the golden era of season 4. I'm talking peak season 5, peak season 6 kind of vibes. There's a lot of political intrigue, political I think one of the things that House of the Dragon had against it is that everyone was looking for Littlefinger, everybody was looking for Tyrion, everybody was just looking for characters that would one day inform the ones that we actually love and care about. Thank God they didn't go that route. They did create very unique characters, but with recognizable traits. So I would have to say, obviously our main character, who's literally one character that was Daenerys was literally looking up to in the previous series most of the time. I am not gonna say names, guys. I'm gonna butcher them. I don't care. So all I know is just my favorite character, Matt Smith's character. What's his name? Yeah, Viserys' brothers. Yeah, okay, yeah. Damon, guys. Damon. That guy got both the males and the females sipping for him. Damon is probably the best written character because he has so many conflicting. There's a lot of cognitive dissonance going on with that guy because one thing is I believe this, but then he does something very horrendous at the same time. That's one of the great things about House of the Dragon is it was able to take characters with similar traits to the ones that we already know, make them different enough to the point where we can actually distinguish. We can distinguish that this is Daemon. This is Daemon. This is not Jaime Lannister. You know what I mean? Daemon Targaryen is a whole different character. So they were able to do that while having so many things stacked up against each other, against them. Shadow of a terrible legacy, not having the same kind of writers, same kind of staff members that were there, like producers. They had a whole different team. Well, some people came in from the previous regime, but now it's a whole thing. That's pretty much the backstory. But I think probably my favorite episode was probably, I think episode 3. Oh, spoilers for those who haven't watched. I don't know if you haven't watched House of the Dragon yet, this is weird. But spoilers coming in, so actually want to watch it without spoilers, and just skip ahead, pretty much. My favorite episode was probably when Daemon and the Sea Snake was fighting the Lord of the Crabs. George R.R. Martin has a very good way of woven this kind of characters with such cool names. I'm really into names. If you have a cool name for a story, I'm probably gonna read it, and I don't care if it sucks. I'm probably gonna finish it because their name is so cool. That's probably my favorite episode because it really showed a lot of brutality of the previous history. of Game of Thrones. Daemon was covered in blood in that episode, okay guys?
That's a lot of damage!
Going after the Crab King, burning his people, literally killing his allies as well. Obviously people will say maybe he didn't care, but like majority of the time it seems like Daemon is a guy who, one, understands the necessity of like executing people that are a threat to the throne, but also is able to have some caring aspect to himself. I think it's probably a Daemon bias. Yeah. Now, would I say it's the best series out? Yeah, man, it's better than, you know, Rings of Power. Never gonna talk about that show. Better than Rings of Power. It is better than majority of the shows that are out. The only other show I can compare it to, I'll probably compare it to Terminal List. Yeah, both of them have a very good grip on character. So if you're more character, majority of people are more character focused people when it comes to stories. So I would recommend both. For me, it's like, you know, House of the Dragon is, you know, everything that we wanted season 7 to be, but wasn't. You know what I mean? Like the episode 10 probably is the best episode of the season, because it sets, like, it literally, we thought like we were about to get into the minutiae of the war, right? Because let's not forget, one criticism I have is that it moves at a breakneck speed. Like the first 4 episodes, like we go through timelines like Lightning McQueen. It's fast, but it's not bad. It's like it's necessary to actually get to the meeting part of season 2. Well, I feel like season 2 should probably like take that time expanding, and episode 10 is probably the best because like it literally ties or wraps up a lot of emotional aspects, ties up a lot of emotions around the relationship between the mother and the son, and it really gives like a lot. it really knows how to write character deaths, I'd say. It really shows us like, yo, one character took it one step too far, and now we got the Dance of the Dragons, which I can't wait for season 2. I haven't got too much information. I'm just talking about what I watched and what I enjoyed. So yeah, man, those are the things I enjoyed about House of Dragons. What I would criticize House of the Dragons for is, I don't know, man. It gets hard to remember people's names. But then again, it's a similar problem that, you know, Game of Thrones had, because then some character from season 3 shows up in season 6 and it's like, yo, John, I'm back. I'm here to stand with you. And John will be like, yeah, stand with me. And then we don't, like, the connection doesn't get, you know, it doesn't get made. We forget the connection. So that's probably a criticism, but it's not like a harsh one. I'll call it nitpicking. Another one, I would just have to say the choppiness, the speed of what going through history, because most of the time you could see like, yo, there's a lot of information that's being left out to, you know, hurry along the story, which is understandable because they want to make sure that season 2 is a huge focus on actual dragon battles. So yeah, I didn't mention the dragons because, like, guys, it's obvious the dragons are the ones, guys. Come on. Those are the only 2 criticisms, which is wild. I would have to say those are the only 2 things that come to mind. Those are the only things I would actually have to say is a problem. Awesome that, you know, George R. R. Martin is back in the, you know, in the writing room. He's actually an executive producer. He's not just, hey, we borrow your stories and we take it. One thing that George R. R. Martin, which I found pretty cool, he said that the show is actually better than the books, and I was like, wow. You know, since there's a lot of those book nerds in the comment sections, you know, in Twitter saying, oh yeah, the books are better, you know, for the actual author to say like the show improves on the books is pretty much a testament of how good the show is, I would have to say. So other than that, man, get on my frame, man. I watched it, I was like, John was supposed to. Okay. So the point is,